Good morning, I'm WaywornWyrm, and welcome to my channel, and welcome to episode 2 of the Stolen Lands Bandit Attack. It was obvious when the bandits rode up, they didn't even attempt to be quiet. When they reached the gate, there was much yelling and curses thrown. Eventually, they dismounted their horses and walked into the trading post with hatred in their eyes. That is when Lucian's trap was sprung. Petra burst out of her hay pile and sprinted toward the 3 bandits who were accompanying the cloaked man. With a burst of speed, she hit one bandit in the neck, driving her sword into his skull. Unfortunately, the impact was so hard she was stopped in her tracks before she could reach the next confused bandit. Typer stood up and jumped down from the catwalk to stand in front of the gate and attacked the cloaked man. With just a single slash of his scimitar, the man collapsed. Seeing the others burst out early, Lucian ran out from around the corner and attacked the first bandit he came to. Lucian bifurcated him from shoulder to opposing hip with one smooth motion. Umbria stood up and, seeing there was only a single bandit left, she cast a sleep spell on him, which immediately sent him to sleep as he collapsed into the mud. A minute later, he woke up with a start to see a face filling his field of vision. Petra smiled at him. "Hi, I'm Petra, and welcome to your nightmare." As she said that, he realized he was propped up against a building. Petra moved a few steps back so he could see the courtyard, now covered in blood. As you can see, all of your companions, including your boss, are dead. After we take the choicest bits off them, Oleg over here, she motioned to Oleg, is going to string them up by their necks over the south wall of this trading post as a warning to any other bandits in the area who might think he's an easy target. Now, you see, not only did we kill everyone you came with and put you to sleep with a trivially easy spell, but we did that within seconds of starting our attack and came through it without a scratch on any of us. So, from where I'm sitting, you've got 2 choices. Either you tell us where your camp is, and we take what we want from you, and then we send you back north with the next group heading that way to face charges for repentant banditry, or you can join your friends on the south wall. Oh, and if you choose the latter, you better hope we don't string you up before killing you. The man started quaking all over, but it only took him a few seconds to decide. Okay. I'll tell you, I'd rather face a tribunal and hope they have mercy than trust you guys. Good choice, Petra replied. And he indeed told them where to find the camp, how to follow certain trail markers and come right to it at a spot along the Thorn River. He was even so kind as to tell them that if they moved quickly, the camp wouldn't be expecting them, and a number of the bandits staying at the camp would probably be out hunting, either food or maybe loot. After he told them all that they thought was useful, Lucian bashed him on the side of the head with the pommel of his longsword to knock him back out. Okay, let's manacle him and throw him in the stables. It shouldn't be too long before we can get him headed up north. Oleg nodded. That is probably the best idea. You should hurry up with getting to that camp, though. I would suggest taking their horses at least most of the way. With the horses, you should get there near nightfall, but walking would take you all of today and most of tomorrow before you got to where he described. Either way, here's 50 gold pieces as a reward for saving my trading post. I also have 2 potions of Cure Light Wounds and a potion of Shield of Faith, stronger than just the basic kind, for you as payment. And He looks over to his wife for a second. We have decided you are free to stay here for as long as you want. You can use this as a home base for your expedition. Petra, while this had been going on, had been busying herself with inventorying the contents of the bandits, and called to Oleg. Hey, Oleg. We don't have a need for all of these things the bandits have. Would you be willing to buy them from us, by any chance? Oleg strode over to her and looked at the collection she had. Sure, he shrugged. I'd be more than happy to. Petra nodded and called Lucion over. Hey, boss, I think you could use this, she said as she tossed him a composite longbow. I know you're a big fan of your longsword and wading into battle with it and your shield, but this would help give us options, especially when it comes to ambushing this bandit camp. Lucian took the bow and looked it over, test drawing it a few times. You're not wrong there. What else do we have? Well, there are about 10 more days of trail rations, which will be helpful, especially if Oleg will let us store some of our stuff here. About 80 arrows, which we can split 60-20 between the two of us to give us equal amounts of arrows. About 65 gold pieces, 3 short swords, this amulet. She held up a silver amulet made into the shape of a stag's head, a dagger, 4 sets of leather armor, and 2 vials of alchemist's fire, which I have a feeling any of us can use, but maybe we should give to Umbria for safekeeping. Lucian looked thoughtful for a few minutes. Umbria, could you use a dagger? She shrugged at this. I know how to use one. I'm not sure how useful it would be, though. I have my spells, and if I need a backup, I have my staff, so a dagger would be the backup to my backup. And that's what she said out loud. Internally, she was dreading even the extra pound or 2 the dagger would add to her already large amount of stuff. Okay, well, backups to backups never hurt, so let's give it to you just in case. So I have 3 short swords, this amulet, and 4 sets of armor to sell you, Oleg. Oleg looked the small pile of loot over. So it appears. I'll be back in a minute. With that, he went into his house for a few minutes and came back with a coin purse. In here, you'll find 90 more gold pieces, which I believe is fair for the goods you're selling me. Also, I'd be more than happy to store your things while you are away, for the trail rations or anything else you want to leave here. Lucian agreed happily and walked outside to where the horses were waiting. After a few minutes of trying to calm them, he brought them inside. Oleg, right now we'd like to also sell you 2 of these horses. And we may or may not sell you the other 4 after this attack. Given what we have to do, I find walking to be preferable. However, there might be something to say about riding, given the large amount of land we have to cover. Oleg nodded. We can do that. However, I don't have enough money at the moment to buy even a single horse from you. Here is what I can do, though. If you're willing to sell me the horses for an IOU, within the week I can sell everything I currently have, including this new gear, for a few hundred gold and pay you back then. Also, given your expedition, the already lessening of bandits in the area, and the hunters and trappers in this area, and the fact that we'll probably get more of them, I should be able to get at least an initial loan from banks back in Rostov to start expanding this post. Lucian shrugged in agreement. That's more than understandable. This area has been a wilderness for a long time, and you have been on the edge of that. And not for very long, from what you were telling us yesterday. We don't expect you to be prepared to ramp up immediately, even more so with your recent problems. He gestured toward the pile of armor on the ground. A short time later, Lucion was guiding everyone onto their new horses. We have to get a move on. I would prefer to reach the camp before it's fully dark. I don't want to try and go through the thick forest at night, or spend valuable time skirting the edge of the forest. The rebirth moon is tonight, so we should have plenty of light. Saying their goodbyes to Oleg and Svetlana, the party set out toward the bandit camp. It would be a long, hard ride that would see them through most of the day. The plains of southern Rustland and the northern reaches of the Greenbelt quickly gave way to the forest known as the Gnarl Marches. A fairly dense forest that was at the heart of the wild of the Greenbelt. Thank you so much for listening to the second episode of The Stolen Lands Bandit Attack. Tune in Thursday, January 4th, for episode 3, which will be The Camp at the Thorn River.